Well, today was quite a day. What do we see? We saw that the splice levels were extremely crucial, as we've been seeing all week long. We've seen splice close double bottom. We caught that bottom. We see this spliced vector on Tuesday, break and retest, and price didn't come back. Outlier weeks produce outlier moves, and we're seeing that all week long, both for the bottom side and the top side. So today, ranged and then just didn't come back, and then targeted this spliced L1 right into close, 4 p.m. So very interesting, very, very interesting. Shorts here didn't work. Um, and then there were other opportunities that we talked about, but a very big day for patience. I know there were some people who caught some longs off of this bounce here into the short that we attempted. Um, it just hung around for a long time, just started grinding into the ceiling. So very good lesson here. Definitely a different day than the day before, but nonetheless, such is this craft. And so we definitely use that as context going into tomorrow. The weekly ceiling is up here. We've pushed beyond that weekly PML. The sentiment has been now into the weekly ceiling. Earlier in the week, I talked about how the weekly PML was going to be important. We got that overshoot, but then now we started finding support above. So overshoot, bounce, and then just continue going into the ceiling direction. So now for tomorrow, the dead zone is significantly, and similar on the ES, by the way, bounce on the pivot, and then just grind up. So there was some opportunities here, but it was definitely a test of patience. Definitely a test of patience. The shorts here did not work, but we had this positive exposure move right into the ceiling. So very good lesson today. The cleaner range plays were on NQ, but on ES it was a little bit more difficult. This was the only clean thing that was on ES as opposed to NQ. Typically what happens is that NQ will continue to grind up, but ES will just retest its high. So we had some of that today. Going into tomorrow, there's a hedge prevalent regime. By that I mean the IV walls on the top side and the upside are higher than the ceiling, and the IV walls are higher than the floor. So there's more propping for the propped up market. And so the news that's coming out in the morning is going to be absolutely huge. On ES, I anticipate we either get a 90-point move to the top or a 90-point move to the bottom. So, big catalyst, big catalyst. It's a big month. Everyone talking about seasonality, but this is pushing up. I do anticipate things are being priced in, and therefore they are hedging themselves against the downside by pushing upwards. So, big catalyst tomorrow. This has found support above the weekly PML, so they're driving this towards the weekly ceiling. For the overnight session, I could see this pulling back and finding some support here, and then continuing upwards. And then at news, wicking up and then coming down. So we're going to have to be very careful because, of course, it's news. And we have bull market checkpoint just above. I talked about this several weeks ago. Actually, 65.50 was going to be crucial for this false recovery scenario that is currently happening across the NASDAQ composite, ESQQ, and VIX, helping fuel that narrative that we are arriving at the 65.50. I have this bull market checkpoint 65.28, but long story short, we are falling right into the hands of the false recovery scenario. So tomorrow being absolutely huge. So, I mean, look at this. We haven't gotten that close since now about a week ago, coming right back up into it. And tomorrow, huge catalyst. So, what am I looking for? I'm looking for this area, 65.43 to 48. Now, if that doesn't work, I'm not going to be paying attention too much to this one because there's going to be euphoric push if there's a positive sentiment around the jobs reports. So I'm going to definitely pay attention to the splice levels going into tomorrow. Anything that's spliced, I'm putting more emphasis on. It's been working all week long. So spliced imprint here for pullback long, pullback into a long. Break and retest below it, I'm paying attention to that if these shorts are favored. Take profits along the way. If I'm looking for down here, I'm definitely paying attention to splice vector, which almost overlaps with weekly PML. But if we get an outlier move towards the downside tomorrow, then I'm definitely paying attention. Notice how the floor, overnight floor, is stable, pretty much stable from yesterday now, with the weekly floors, not too far away. 75 points is really not that far away for this kind of stuff. So that's going to be huge. The Wave 7 hourly 10% band is below all of this with open states. So that's going to have to aggressively push. I mean, that's about 700 plus points. So pay attention to that. It's going to need aggressive selling into RTH. I don't see 700 points happening before RTH. But the news could kick this off and then RTH just sell. And us possibly have a trend day. So I could see a little bit more float, longing here, but then preparing for shorts. First attempt here near this spliced H1, so that's 23,800, which is already a psychological level. And then on ES, 42 to 45. And then if not 75, I would see this as a long target. So a pullback into this statistical level where there's the hourly vector, and then just try to take profit along the way because there are resistances here. And I want to make sure I'm not getting greedy. So definitely take note of these splice levels on the way down. Splice vector, splice open state, splice L2 min. And I'm going to add some more levels underneath this. So definitely take this into account. Outlier weeks produce outlier moves. Tomorrow's going to be an outlier move. I'm just telling you right now. So let's prepare accordingly. Take care.